One of the most common things that I see as a guitar teacher is once my students get kind of a certain scale or a certain sound under their fingers, they run into the problem of whenever they're, improvising, jamming out with a backing track, playing with friends, that they run into this situation where they're kind of just running pentatonic boxes or running major scale boxes, minor scale boxes, whatever it is. And in today's video, I wanted to offer you some insights and some help into breaking out of the boxes and challenging yourself to kind of make more music. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to record a quick little loop on my on my looper, and just so you can we'll have a vibe to work with, and I'll show you what the problem is and then how you can go about fixing it. So let's say I'm playing over a simple backing track in G. Let's say I'm going. Okay, so now we got that stocked away for later. So this is just a simple chord progression that goes G, A minor, C. So 1, 2, 4 in the key of G. Great chord progression, and what a lot of my students might sound like after getting comfortable with, say, the G major scale, they might sound like this. Which, nothing that I played was wrong. Everything was in the right key, everything sounded generally fine. But the thing that a lot of people get stuck in is everything that I was playing was very kind of scaly. Everything was in a very scale order, which is not always the most interesting sound to be listening to. And this is something that I was taught by one of my professors when I was doing a jazz guitar degree many moons ago. And when you're learning jazz, you start working with very specific vocabulary and you start kind of learning these licks. And then a lot of the time what happens is rather than actually improvising or creating music in the moment, you're just kind of regurgitating licks, which is fine. That's a natural kind of way of getting a new sound into your fingers. It's kind of like when you're a baby, you learn to speak by mimicking what mom and dad are saying, So when you go through this and you're working on licks, or you've got this new thing that you're working on, so in this case it's the G major scale, it's very natural to find yourself kind of boxed in, to this one box. It happens. And then maybe you go to the next position, but you're still just kind of stuck running this. And what my amazing professor told me to do, he was like, sounds great, but you're playing a lot of it doesn't necessarily sound spontaneous. What if we did this and you're only allowed to play on the D string? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm supposed to just play music with only the D string available to me. But what this does is it forces you to think in a different way and actually think kind of melodically and creatively, rather than just kind of running a scale because you don't know where to end or you don't know where to start. And it forces you to really kind of hear things. So what I would do to start bringing in this practice, this limitation that we're imposing on ourselves, what I would do is I would find where all the good notes are. So in the key of G, you can always write out all of the notes if you don't just know what notes are in the key that you're working on. But for me, I do. So I would have my D string. Second fret of the D string is E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Just find all those. And the cool thing about this is that you have to think differently and you have to play differently, and you can't just fall back on a scale position that you know if you run into trouble. So one more time what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a little bit where I'm trapped in the box, and then I'm going to just shift it to just playing notes on the D string. So check this out. Not bad, but now what if I only go D string? I don't know about you, but I would actually say, even though when I was trapped in that one position, I actually played some nice melodies that I dug. But in that second one, I had to think a lot more like a singer, and I had to think kind of rangy and try to think of where notes were. And the fact that I had to be more consciously aware of what I was doing rather than just like, you know, because I have practiced, I will tell you, this G major scale in position 1, I've played that probably millions of times. So by forcing myself into this slightly less comfortable zone, you can end up with these really, really cool ideas. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to take it a step further. So now, what if we could play on 2 strings? What if it was the D string and the G string? So you could do the same thing, find your good notes. I'll leave that in there because even professional musicians make mistakes. But okay, so now I can put the 2 together. Lost the wheels a little bit there, but there's already some more interesting ideas, but I'm not quite done throwing you new stuff to try. What if we did the B string and the D string? So now I have a string gap between what I'm allowed to do, and this can be huge. So once you've built up your comfort playing some of these nice melodies, this is maybe where this exercise gets super interesting, because you're forced to have these bigger interval gaps, right? The B string is tuned quite a bit higher than the D string. So I'll repeat the same process, find my notes on the B string, but now I can get bigger interval jumps between my notes. And if that terminology is funny for you, intervals just mean it's the distance between 2 notes. So when I'm going from 2 different strings with a string in between them, I'm going to get bigger interval differences than I would if I was just playing close. So this is what that would sound like. I really like that. Get these really nice sounds just by messing around with those. But that is a fantastic way to break out of your scale boxes and force yourself to really start playing some music and seeing how different things work on the neck by setting these limitations of bouncing between strings. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It really helps me out more than you can know. If you want to take a guitar lesson with me, there's a link to get in touch with me down in the description. I'd love to work with you on whatever's troubling you on the guitar. If you are looking for a different way to support me, you can check out my Patreon down below, which is a great way to support all of this free educational content that I put out here. All of my patrons get early access to videos, as well as sneak peeks at stuff that I'm working on that I'm not sharing anywhere else. So I would love to see you over there. Another great way to support me and what I'm up to is to check out my ebooks and my video courses, which are linked down below. It's a great way to get some more in-depth educational content from me that I can fit into a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video. And last but not least, I have new videos coming out every single week, so I hope I'll see you in the next one. And until I do, I'll wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.